The state government, the Minns government, Joe is going to hate this story because we know how much he loves Minns. The Minns government has forked out a whopping $5.4 million in taxpayer funds trying to review the toll system, which we know is extortionate. Anyone who has travelled on Sydney roads knows that it's absolutely extortionate. But these people putting this review together have managed to blow $5.4 million just on putting it together. Here's some of the money spent: $145,000 on flights and accommodation, $2.8 million on staff, $1.5 million on other consultants. My goodness, have we got consultants hiring consultants now? And $52,208 on miscellaneous. That's a lot of pens and highlighters. My goodness. Now, this review...
I met miscellaneous once. She was very well off.
This review, Gabby, what cracked me up, because I was like, OK, what were the findings? How are you going to fix this? How are you
$5 million. What are you going to find?
I'm expecting gold here. The review recommends a new northbound toll on the Harbour Bridge and Tunnel, as well as the Eastern Distributor. The review argues that the money raised would then be used to lower the costs of tolls across the network. So basically, what we've got recommended for our $5.4 million is more tolls, which will overall make the tolls cheaper.
What a good way to spend $5 million to find something like that. But how infuriating is it for anyone living in Sydney and New South Wales? And it just costs so much money to get from A to B. It's $7 just to go through one tunnel, another $5 here before you even factor in how much you're spending on fuel and the rest of it. But the spin from the government on this one, when they were, are asked to provide a statement as to this report, they've said, the $5 million pales in comparison to the $195 billion that motorists will pay out to 2060 unless the new system is reformed. Are we supposed to be grateful that we are spending so much on tolls as it is, or it's just getting higher, and that spending $5 million to find out absolutely nothing?
Oh, come on, it's a storm and a ticket. $5 million, that'll barely get you 3 toll gates on the M5.
Every time you've got to come into bat for your mate.
I do love my boy, but he is trying to fix the problem. So he is like, yes, the telly's absolutely right, and nothing has actually happened yet. And yes, there does appear to be some pretty...
Yes, there does appear to be nothing I can defend here at all.
This review. I wish I was on this review. Love Alan Fells as well, big fan.
Although it must be said, it's not Fells's fault. As he pointed out, my expenses, this is the guy who was in charge of doing the review. He headed the whole thing up. He simply pointed out, don't look at me. It was under the cap that the government gave me to spend on this.
He's not going to stay in an F1 motel.
Why wouldn't I be staying in the 5-star?
I'd be picking up Capella Hotel.
So again, the finger pointing comes straight back to your mate.
Well, I think I suppose...
Give him a small attachment.
If someone gives you a cap doesn't mean you have to spend all of it. But again, I suppose, if
it's permission.
Alan Fells is a very well-respected competition czar, and he knows what he's doing. And I think his recommendations actually make a huge amount of sense. So for people outside of Sydney, obviously the North Shore and the eastern suburbs are the most affluent parts of Sydney. And yet, owing to a quirk in history, you don't actually pay a toll going north on the Harbour Bridge or Tunnel. You only pay it on the way back. So you only basically getting you're only paying half price basically for use of the road. Whereas if you live in the southwest with the M5 or in the west with the M4 or anywhere else, you have to rely on toll roads. It's not like, oh no, you only have to pay, going west. You don't have to pay when you're coming back east. So I actually think it makes perfect sense. It is, you'll be pleased to know, Liz, especially a redistribution of wealth.
Wonderful.
But the richest parts of Sydney have been getting literally a free ride. Like the Eastern Distributor, there's no tolls at all. Whereas for poor old people in the outer west, people who rely on the M4, the M5, people in Campbelltown,
they're just trying to make it fair.
People all over Sydney are getting free rides anywhere. Sydney is so spread out. Wherever you live, wherever you work, people have to cross all over to go see their family. I think no matter what part of Sydney you're in, you're coughing up for tolls.